and thank you for listening to Horror/Stories. I'm Sarah, and I'm so excited that today I have with me another panel of guests, and we are going to be talking about Renfield, which is just a movie I'm so excited to be talking about. I love this movie. I've seen it, oh my gosh, so many times already since just in preparing for this episode. So I'm going to let our guests introduce themselves. So, Jamie, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am Jamie Jackson, and I am the author of The Adventures of a Villain-Leaning Humanoid series, a romantasy reimagining of Tristan and Isolde, The Sparrow and the Oak Tree, and then I have a dark fantasy retelling of Shakespeare's Macbeth called Bound to the Fate of Kings. So, yeah.
All of your books sound amazing, and I want to check every single one of them out. And speaking of that, Donna, I'll let you introduce yourself next. And also, I have a Blood on the Boardwalk, and I can't wait to read it. I'm so excited.
Well, I am Donna Taylor, and I am the author of the San Nico Slayers series. The first book, Blood on the Boardwalk, just came out in September, inspired by The Lost Boys, because that is my favorite vampire movie ever. And next book, Monsters in the Mountains, comes out in March. And then 6 months later comes out the third book, and then 6 months later comes out the fourth and final book. But I'm all about vampires. We are a vampire household, as evidenced by, I know, there's going to be no video, but as evidenced by the completely dungeon-like office.
I am so jealous of your office, because mine is
amazing. And our third guest is one of my favorite people in the whole world, one of my best friends, and I would say a vampire expert. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Sam Feistritzer. I am a vampire lover, a friend of the podcast, and I just love books and the way it can connect you with people. Sarah and I actually met online when we were running book Instagram accounts, and now hang out regularly and are close friends. So she's sweet. Renfield is one of my favorite movies, so we watched it together, and she was kind enough to let me come on this episode with such cool people. All those books sound amazing. I love that. You guys are so cool.
And yeah, literally the first time I saw this movie, it's because Sam said it was one of her 5 favorite movies, and I was like, I clearly have to watch that. So yeah, now we've introduced ourselves. Is there any horror books or movies you've been reading or watching lately, or anything you're excited to check out soon? This time I'm going to start with Sam.
It ended up being very similar to Renfield. I read Camp Damascus. I think it's a little bit too long to be a novella, but it's by Chuck Tingle, who is kind of, have you guys heard of Chuck Tingle? I thought he was, I heard of him in college. I thought he was just kind of an internet shit poster, but he's a legitimate horror author. And Camp Damascus was this beautiful story about railing on conversion camps and religion and how they don't love gay people. So I really loved it. And it's one of the reasons I love Renfield as well. It's when people can be campy, but also be serious and have fun without making fun of something and still taking it seriously. Yeah, that's what I was reading. I recommended it to you. I hope you read it.
Yeah, I immediately put it on hold at the library.
Donna, what have you been reading?
I am currently reading Do Better by Adam Allen. I think it actually comes out this week. It is horror surrounding toxic masculinity, and it's unfolding in a very interesting way. So I am looking forward to seeing where this is going. It's very interesting. And Jamie?
So I have actually been on a cozy kick. So most of what I've been watching or reading has been cozy. There was a series that's based off of Great British Baking Show, essentially. So it's cozy baking show in book form. Other than that, it's just been gothic-ish, gothic fantasy. I think The Moor Witch would qualify for that. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So haven't really been super horror focused, but
Gothic counts.
Yeah.
Gothic's a subgenre. I'm trying to think if I've like what I've watched recently or what I've been reading. I think the most recent movie that stands out to me is Cobweb. Have any of you seen Cobweb? It's on Netflix, and I think it's maybe like a kids movie based on the tone of the movie, but it was really scary. I haven't been that scared watching a movie in a really long time. So I don't know what children it's for. Like it was very confusing, but very good. I recommend it. And it had for me the standout performance was it had Anthony Starr from like The Boys, and he was the dad, and he was so creepy. He just did an amazing job being creepy. Lizzie Kaplan was in it too, but yeah, I think, and I'm definitely going to be checking out Camp Damascus soon. It sounds really cool. But thank you all for being here. I'm so excited to talk about this movie with you. And we have so much expertise on vampires here. So I would love to know, do you have any background that you want to share about, what's your history with the genre? Why do you love vampires? What's your favorite vampire story or book or movie? Who's your favorite vampire? But yeah, Donna.
Vampires were like my first monsters that I really just kind of latched onto. I can't tell you what it was about them. I saw The Lost Boys and Interview with a Vampire within the same year. I don't know which one came first. But between those two, and despite the fact that the Interview with the Vampire style is really not what I gear toward normally. Lost Boys is definitely more my speed. Between the two of those, they just kind of imprinted themselves on me, and I've just gone down any number of vampire rabbit holes over the years. So it's just part of my DNA at this point. I don't know how else to describe it.
I love that. Did we mention, I mean, we talked about this before we started recording, your cat's name?
Renfield?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a cat named Renfield because my husband isn't too big into horror, but he likes horror comedy. And Mel Brooks is like, we're a Mel Brooks household, and we love Dracula Dead and Loving It. We love Peter McNichol's like version of Renfield, which we had no idea until very recently that he was actually spoofing the original Renfield from Dracula in 1931. We thought he was just being weird Peter McNichol, is like a weird Peter McNichol character. But yeah, and we named our cat after that just so we could like walk around the house and just go, "Come Renfield," and we do that all the time.
That's amazing.
It's the simple things.
Honestly, I think so Twilight came out when I was in middle school, which is exactly when you need to read Twilight for it to be a formative experience. And I do think there's a lot of memes on the internet roasting anxious girls for loving vampires, and they're right. All of them are correct. And so I think just a bad representation of love, but just this idea of something that would last forever, that's so creepy and they'll always pick you no matter what. It's this obsessive thing just embedded in my mind when I was in middle school. But then as I get older, I find new ways to love vampires. One of my new questions is, because I was watching a video documentary about vampires, and one of the 3 reasons they die is ennui. And I like to imagine how long it would take me to suffer from ennui. And I just really narcissistically think it would take several centuries. So, I don't know. I love everything about the genre. I think it's fun. I think it can be serious. And I don't know. I just think it's amazing. Like I said, I think if you love vampires, you just love them, and that's who you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think recently, were you trying to watch just every vampire movie, all the vampire movies?
Yeah, actually, we talked about this with Renfield because I started deep diving into it, and they reference there's so many Easter eggs to other vampire movies, and so part of me watching Renfield was making a list of all the movies that were referenced, and so I'm going to watch all of those now in honor of Renfield because I love it so much. 100%.
I love that. Jamie, what about you?
So Blade. Can I count Blade? Okay. Yeah. I would say Blade really was what hit off my interest in vampires overall. I mean, when I was like a little kid, my mom had gotten me like these little pamphlets about different monsters. So it had like Frankenstein's monster, zombies, vampires, and then like ghosts and hauntings. So I started with a little pamphlet as a kid that just had information on vampires and loved it. But then when I got older, I kind of skipped most of like the books that you would read as you're getting older, Anne Rice and all of that stuff, because most of what I was reading was Fear Street. So when it really came to vampires, it started with Blade and The Idiot's Complete Guide to Vampires was when I really kind of like started reading up and kind of deep diving into them. So Blade has a special place in my heart.
I love that. And also, I'm just admiring the posters behind you of your book covers.
Yes.
I think that is so cool. I'm obsessed. Okay, so the reason we're talking about this movie specifically today is because Jamie had proposed it as a folk horror movie. And I was just like, I will take any excuse to watch Renfield. So, and you had written up a whole like essay of how it was folk horror. So let's talk about that. And then let's talk about like, is vampire, like the genre of vampire movies or stories, can we consider that a subgenre of folk horror? And can we consider Renfield folk horror?
Okay, so basically in no particular order, because I didn't plan it out when I wrote it, was isolation. So Renfield, while the majority of the story takes place in New Orleans, which is a large city and not a remote location, Renfield himself is isolated from other people. Like literally the only person he has is Dracula. So he's emotionally and mentally trapped in that isolation until he connects with other isolated, also known as codependent people. And Rebecca, the only woman, or the woman that he helps, is also isolated because she's kept separate from the rest of the police force by her choices of being the only ethical person that's there. How it draws on vampiric folklore, the number of ways in which to kill a vampire, which there's a lot of different ways over the centuries that people have come up with for killing a vampire. And then blood as a life force and the consumption of such or other living creatures to extend or instill additional power. And then lastly, Dracula, clearly the monster, is a supernatural or evil entity. And then the town is represented by the police protecting, acting in Dracula's best interest, along with the Lobos, and how they join Dracula's side and become his servants, kind of as like the religion sacrifice facet to it. So that's it in a nutshell, where I just kind of like vomited onto the page.
Yeah. I love that. That also makes me think we need to discuss at some point, do you think that their method of killing Dracula, their disposal method, was effective? Is he going to come back for that? Sam and Donna, do you think like that? I mean, I think vampire is a folk horror subgenre, I think, because actually I don't know the origins. When did vampires start? Like, vampires go beyond just like Dracula, right?
Yeah, they existed well before then. And
you have the history.
I have the history. A big part of it had to do with burials and how you took care of burying people in your village, in your community, because if you didn't follow the correct rites, the correct steps, they would come back as a vampire. So, yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, so I think clearly that like it originates from folklore, and I think we can definitely consider vampire folk horror, vampire a subgenre of folk horror. Or if you don't agree, I would love to hear your disagreeing arguments. I want to hear your case for that as well. But can we consider Renfield folk horror?
Maybe. I just because I just real quick Googled what is folk horror? Like what are actually defining characteristics of folk horror? So it's like the isolation, rural settings, dealing with the unknown, religion and the occult. The unsettling ending, I think, is where Renfield is not going to fall in, unless we want to look at is Dracula actually really immortal and cannot die, or did pureeing him and putting him into cement ice cubes and throwing him wherever they threw him? Did they throw him into the sea or into a sewer?
The sewer grate.
What's under there?
His remains, I think hell will freeze over for Dracula to ever come back, assuming he is capable of coming back from that. Although that would be a really awful existence if he maintains some kind of consciousness while in his pureed cement form and is just existing as these little cement ice cubes in the ether. Wow, welcome to my head and the rabbit hole that I just went down right now. You're welcome.
Well, I was kind of surprised they didn't spread him out a little bit more.
Yeah,
they shouldn't put him all in one place.
Some go in the Pacific Ocean, some over here in the Atlantic, and somewhere else in between.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't really have access to the transportation methods they would need to do it that quickly.
Yeah, probably. Sam, what is your opinion?
I think it's fan fiction. I think Renfield is fan fiction, and I think that overcomes any other genre it is. I think it is a movie about vampires for people who love vampires. And even just going through all of the different Easter eggs that are in the movie. For example, it's supposed to be a sequel of the 1931 Dracula, and I didn't realize this, but they edited the main characters into that original footage to the continuity, because that movie ends with Renfield dying, and so this one is reimagining Dracula revives him, and he's his only he serves him for all of these years. And then just all of the nods to all the different Dracula movies that it does. I think it's so funny that Nick Cage does it, because we were talking about, he's a Coppola, his uncle directed one of the really famous Dracula movies. And I don't know, I think it's definitely folk horror, but I think vampires in general are it's such a well-known genre that started in folklore. Are there vampire movies that aren't folk horror?
That's a great question. And I love describing it as fan fiction because it totally is fan fiction. But we kind of talked about this already with Dracula's death in the movie. But what established vampire lore do we see surface in Renfield? How you kill a vampire, sunlight. What kind of what stayed true to canon in terms of lore, and what new lore was introduced? Is eating bugs, does that have an origin beyond this movie?
I think in Dracula, the novel itself, Renfield does consume bugs, believing that he's getting their life force the same as Dracula does from blood. The thing is in the book, Renfield is perfectly mortal. He's not actually getting any sort of additional power. But they did kind of pull that from the novel, as far as I can tell.
So he's just eating bugs because...
Yeah. He's in the novel, he's eating bugs just because he thinks it'll give him powers.
Well, it's so interesting to know it does have an origin. Yeah. Did you notice, what other vampire lore? Was there new lore?
I didn't know. I had seen in the original Dracula movie, I think it's the opening credits, they have the creepy bugs. So the director, one of his interviews, said it was a continuity thing. They were trying to take things that they could add on to, but I didn't know he ate them in the original. So I don't know if that's considered new lore. But I thought that was
That's so interesting, though. I want to see more interviews. I was watching a few interviews beforehand, but I really wanted to see an interview with the writer, especially because the script is so funny. Like, I think that really every moment of this movie is so solid in terms of like the cinematography, the effects, the writing. It kind of hits on all levels. Yeah. Donna, what do you think? Or was there new lore introduced?
I'm trying to think because they use the entry, like he can't enter with that, and I do
He
like
has to be invited.
how Renfield had like the welcome mat. He's like,
That was adorable.
that was a good one. I like the I want to say salt circle. It wasn't a salt circle. Apparently, they can use cocaine. Any powder will do.
Any powder.
I like the trapping aspect of that. I don't think sometimes, depending on the movie, you might get a little bit of like crossover with witchcraft. I think like Van Helsing might have some of that. But I like the trapping and then like basically just the fishbowl aspect that you can just kind of lock him in and do whatever you're going to do to him. I did like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have like the blood has healing properties. I really loved seeing how like the makeup and the set design just in terms of like where at the very beginning he like Dracula is so just disfigured. He is like Nick Cage has got like 20 pounds of makeup on his face.
All the prosthetics that they used for that.
It was amazing. And then every single scene he gets a little bit like his makeup is different.
Yeah, it gets a little less
horrific.
Yes, I was gonna say a little less horrific as he goes, like as he's healing.
The teeth.
His teeth, they're all sharp.
Yeah, those are more like shark type teeth, like animal,
like piranha. They made me think of piranha.
Yeah.
That it almost kind of blending the Nosferatu type vampire with a more aesthetically pleasing vampire. Just a reminder, like, no, this guy's a monster.
Yeah. And the way, like, I don't know, I think Nicolas Cage looked so good. The makeup in general and the costumes were so good. He looked like he fit that role perfectly. But also the set design, just like his what was it, an abandoned hospital?
Yeah, it was an abandoned hospital.
Where he just has like this throwing of blood. And so many candles lit. Who is lighting these candles?
Renfield. Clearly.
Yeah. So like one of the things I realized when I was watching this movie, and I texted Sam, like, so we had watched the movie together, we FaceTimed, and then I watched it again because I was like, this movie is amazing. I just want to see it again. And I realized that I was like, the Lobos, like the reason they're wearing like the wolf masks and everything, it's a reference to werewolves. That didn't even occur to me. So like, what did you guys notice other references to like vampire cinema canon or like, other monster movies, the Universal monsters or anything like that? I'll let anyone who wants to go.
I'm trying to think because I totally didn't pick up on the Lobos angle. I was too busy going, oh my God, that's the voice of Sonic.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I did a deep dive on. I can just run through my quick list because I was so surprised at all of the Easter eggs. Because they, like I said, with the beginning is supposed to be a callback to Nosferatu, kind of like you said, the teeth and the uglier vampire. And then he kind of keeps evolving. I think the movie kind of tracks through all the previous iterations of the Dracula movies, which is why I think it's non-fiction. Swan Lake was in the opening credits in the original Dracula, and then I guess they have the Swan Lake record in Nick Cage's lair, which I did not pick up on, but the internet did. When he's exposed to sunlight, that's how he died in the 1958 one, The Horror of Dracula, and I guess they took a lot of costuming elements from that. And I think it's also funny because he doesn't die from that this time, so there's kind of this idea that maybe he's seen all of these old vampire movies. Like, well, I'm not dying like that, guys. That doesn't work. Like, you can try it. The 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula, I guess inside Nick Cage's medallion, there was a picture of him in a red suit of armor. That was like that version of Dracula wore, so it was a callback to that. The candles, I think, were supposed to be a callback to the 1979 Dracula, which I guess is when Dracula became more of a sex symbol instead of just a creepy vampire. So we have the candles as more of an erotic upbringing to the genre. The Vampire Chronicles, I guess they were saying Nick Cage took a lot of inspiration from Anne Rice and kind of the rock star mentality. So they wanted this Dracula to be an obnoxious, self-centered celebrity with really elaborate costumes, which I think they really pulled off. I saw that there's references to Scarface, especially with the Lobo Mansion. And then I guess Teddy Lobo wears Tony Montana's signature black shirt in the final scene. And then Nick Cage, I didn't know this, made a movie in 1988 called Vampire's Kiss, where he plays a vampire who's a horrible boss, which is hilarious. And then there was just a fun continuity of like serious horror vampire actors that did this fun thing. The man who plays the priest in one of the beginning scenes was in Fright Night. 1985 movie, and he discovered his neighbor was a vampire and kills him. So it's kind of a callback with that. Teddy Lobo's lawyer was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre as DJ Stretch. And so, yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I think it's such a fun movie, because you can watch it and just be entertained. You don't have to know anything about it. But when you dig into it, it really is just it's such a deep dive into the genre, and I really feel like it's a love letter to all these vampire movies that came before it.
It really is, and it's fascinating because I don't think Chris McKay, the director, has done anything similar to it yet. Like he's made other movies, but I just his.
What did he make? Did he make the Lego?
Yeah, he made the Lego movie. That's right. Sam, in your research, did you find out anything about how, like, during the very first fight scene where Renfield goes to like his friends' abusive boyfriends, like the ska boyfriends,
oh my god,
workplace, and there's all of these like props and set design pieces in that warehouse. Did you find anything about why that is? Because I was so curious. It looked amazing, but it wasn't really explained.
See it. The only one I saw was it the restaurant where they have the big fight scene with the Lobos later on. I guess that has a lot of really iconic props from famous horror movies, but I didn't see anything about the warehouse. And some of it, I feel like they just did it for fun. You know, I feel like what would be funny here?
Yeah. And I did wonder if like the choice to set it in New Orleans was an Anne Rice reference.
Yeah.
In what ways did this movie reinvent Dracula, or kind of like it's added its own spin to the genre, or not just the genre, but like to Dracula canon, and the vampire genre. What, like, how was it innovative? Like, how is it changing the landscape of vampire movies or lore or stories, like, from now on? Because I think that's kind of hard to do at this point, because there's been so much done. And, like, yeah, Donna, maybe you can give us some insight in what it's like, how you continue to like update the genre when it's like then that's one thing I love the most about horror is I think these tropes of like vampires and like haunted house ghosts, you can make a million movies about haunted houses, and you have that commonality, and I think they're still interesting and different and innovative.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes this one different and fresh is that it's told from Renfield's perspective. Because Renfield, I don't want to say he's a throwaway character, but we're not meant to dwell on him either in the original book or really in any of the movies. He's just kind of a plot device, something for Dracula to use. And I think that was really innovative in approaching it from that perspective. And that, he's trying to break away from an abusive relationship and from a narcissist that's trying to control him and manipulate him. And I think that is where the fresh take on a literally old Dracula tale is really going to stand out and make something fresh. I also like how they're subverting the Gothic in this, because Dracula is like the epitome of Gothic, and Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula is just tattooed on so many people's minds as like the Dracula, and that is just so Gothic. It might as well just be like completely black screen the entire time. But this takes it to a different level in that it's like, no, it's actually very bright and shiny. You see that in like Renfield's apartment and how bright his walls are. And he's wearing these like ridiculous, like bright sweaters. And it's just the complete opposite. And him crawling out of what would otherwise be a Gothic aesthetic into the daylight, basically.
That's so true. And just, his appearance where he hasn't taken care of himself for like, who knows when he's last had a shower before he met Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. That's also why I think it's fan fiction, right? Like, it's such a classic trope of fan fiction. You pull out this minor character and then make them kind of the center of attention. It is interesting to me, though. It is kind of hard to add new vampire lore because I think Renfield really shows as a genre. There are some established rules that everybody kind of plays by.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, there's a lot of, I especially like the ending where he's like, how do you kill a vampire? Nobody knows. Here's all the ways people try. He's probably going to come back. We'll deal with it then. And I don't know. I don't think I appreciated how in agreement I guess people are about vampire lore and vampire rules, and you have to be welcomed in and you can't be in the sunlight, or if you do, maybe you sparkle. Are there vampire movies that just totally throw that to the wind that you guys can think of? Because I really can't.
I mean, I kind of think that's what Twilight did. And
yeah,
especially when it came out, for those of us who were, pun intended, neck deep in vampire lore, and the fact that Stephenie Meyer did not do any real research into vampire lore, what she did, that I don't think you've really seen that lore that she like created repeated anywhere, because everyone was just like, what? It's
sparkly.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella. It's not. It's the skin of Lisa Frank. So yeah, you have to learn the rules in order to break them. And I think good manipulation of vampire lore are the people who like truly understand it and go, where can I take this? Like, where can I take this that's new and fresh? But when you're just kind of groping around in the dark, it kind of doesn't really ring true. And I think that just kind of gets left behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jamie, what did you think?
I think what Renfield does is it leans into the cliches, the tropes, the stereotypes, and has fun with them instead of taking itself seriously. Like, it takes Renfield just serious enough that the jokes land. You laugh at the fact that there's just too many ways to kill a vampire, so we have to try them all. The part where Dracula gets burnt by the sun at the beginning. It's funny because he runs over and he's like, "Are you okay?" And Dracula's like, "No, no, I'm not okay." So, you know, they lean into it. So you find the humor in all the lore that you have established, because there's too much of it to be able to touch on all of it.
Yeah.
And that's where we get horror comedy as opposed to parody. Because if you look at, because I have like Dracula Dead and Loving It running through my head, where Leslie Nielsen's Dracula basically goes up in smoke and ends up a pile of ash, and you see Peter McNichol like literally like draw a smiley face in the ash, and it's like, "Are you okay?" Like, I think that's where, because there are still serious moments in Renfield where, you know, Dracula takes himself very seriously and the situation is very serious, but it's not parroting what like vampire lore and stuff. It's kind of poking fun at it, but still taking it kind of seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it tread that line really well between horror and comedy, between like serious and just and I think they not only did it tread that line well, but I think there was a good mix of like written lines and improv, which I thought was so interesting. And I was watching an interview beforehand that was with Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. And they were talking about how when they were filming that beginning that Sam was talking about, they would like play a clip. So they would play Dracula, and then Nicolas Cage would do his own version of that. So he wasn't trying to like copy it, but exactly. And then they would play Renfield, and then Nicholas Hoult would do his own version of that, and they just kept doing that back and forth. And I think that I love that idea of you're not copying, but they're like, okay, I've developed my character. Here's how my character would do this thing. Did you have any questions that arose while you were watching the movie or like afterwards? Because I know Sam and we were talking about orange, like the color orange comes up a lot.
I don't know if it was just New Orleans or it was supposed to be bright. Maybe it's supposed to be the sunshine inside. I don't know, but it was really beautiful.
Yeah. Sam, did you have any other questions that came up?
Kind of tied back to what you were saying about the interview we were watching with the Nicholases, the Nikolai. I think part of what makes it so firmly not a parody is that you have very serious actors who are very seriously acting. And I would love to see Nicholas Hoult talk about what it was like playing Renfield and also his role in Nosferatu, because he's an incredible actor in vampire movies. And I mean, Nicolas Cage is a great horror actor.
It's Nicolas Cage.
Right? It's Nicolas Cage. He's named like the top 3 roles he wanted to play, and Dracula was one of them. One of them was Superman. I don't remember the other one. But I don't know. I'm curious why they did it, because it feels like actors that really love the genre and wanted to have fun with it. Because I think with those same actors, it very easily could have gone into parody if it thought they were making fun of it. But they're not. I think they take it so seriously, and I just kind of wonder why.
Yeah. Yeah. Jamie, this was your first time watching this movie, right?
Yeah. So it was like the first time I had seen it.
And yeah. Did you have any questions while you were watching it that you're just like, I really want to know more about?
No, I was just having a great time watching it. I was like, this is awesome. I like he stabs the guy in the neck with a pen and the head goes out, and I'm like sitting here, you know, that moment where you're both like laughing and you're covering your mouth because you're like, oh my God, did that just happen? That was
where
I was too busy doing that through the whole movie to just be like, I have questions.
But yeah, like when he's waving to Aquafina.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Donna?
Just like, so the entire police force was on the take. How are they hiding all of that from the normies? Like, piles and piles of bodies. It's like the superhero stuff. Like, you are coming in and you are saving people and you are completely trashing everything in the process. Like, how are you explaining this to people? Like, do people know about vampires in this world? Probably not, because of the way the Lobos learned about things, and then they were just like, okay, this is cool. But like, yeah, how are we explaining this to the greater New Orleans metropolis?
Yeah,
It was a gas leak.
Right?
I guess. Like, I did think it was so funny when, like, what's her name? Is it like Bella, or the head of the Lobos?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Teddy's mom.
Like Teddy's
I don't know that
mom.
they ever actually gave her a name other than "Your mom wants to see you,
No.
Mom.
I think it's like Isabella.
You need to
or
meet my mother."
Yeah.
That was fun.
She has like a really fancy name. I want to look it up, but she just had no questions. Like, she's introduced. They bring in a coffin, and he's just like, "I am Dracula,"
She's
and
like,
she's just like, "I have
okay.
no questions.
goes
Like,
with
here's
it.
my hand." Like, I'm in. Speaking of which, did you have any like favorite lines or favorite moments? Because I was just thinking about that. Yeah, when the head hit the car, I just lost it. In the very beginning. And I noticed also,
Oh.
like, the last time I watched it, where she keeps saying "fuck you,
Yes.
Kyle."
Yes,
Yeah,
fuck you,
that was
Kyle.
That was amazing.
Let's see the part where she, like, what does she throw, and she hits Teddy in the back when he's like running away, like right there at the beginning where he gets stopped at the traffic stop, and he's screaming about, "Don't you know who I am? I'm Teddy fucking Lobo," and he gets out with all this coke, and he's like starts booking it, and she tosses something and it hits him in the back. So that was one of them. The murder cookies.
Yeah.
The murder
cookies. The arms.
The arms were so funny. And didn't they throw them through somebody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
They use the props. They use everything really well. Like when Teddy Lobo comes in to talk to his mom, and he talks to her in the torture room, which just is another beautiful set piece. And you see like the curtain and someone's torturing someone behind the exactly. But they use it. It comes back into play very meaningfully in the end.
Oh my gosh, we were talking about why is there so much cocaine? And then as Sarah infamously called it Chekhov's cocaine, because it's what it meant. It's such a plot point, and I don't know why.
That's one of my other favorite lines is when Teddy's like, "I have a prescription for this shit."
I love the support group. I think it was a fun play on like therapy speak, because there's a vampire killing people, and then one of the people in the group goes, "How is my life? My life is like a never-ending hallway of funhouse mirrors, but all the clowns are me." And Sarah and I busted out laughing while we were watching that, and it's just so funny. Like, she's about to die from Dracula, and this happening.
It's amazing. And that character was also Jenna Cannell. And I only recently saw Terrifier. And then I rewatched this movie and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the girl from that movie. So, yeah.
I think every actor in this movie is, like, they're legitimate, right? They've done horror. They're just very famous. Like, why is Awkwafina in it? I don't know.
She was amazing. I need to watch more movies with her. Donna, did we hear your favorite moments? I can't remember.
I do like where he was in like the therapy group and Renfield was starting to come to the conclusion like, oh my God, if I stop catering to him, he's not going to grow to full power. And the leader was like, what? Wow, that's really weird. Why'd you say it like that? But okay. That poor guy. Then at the end, they're all like, thank you so much for bringing that back from the dead.
Things I could never unsee, even if I wanted to.
And the moment when he's in counseling where he's just like, I swallowed a bug unintentionally.
And the one girl is like, is there any other way to swim?
Okay, what is your favorite Nicolas Cage movie other than this
I had to pick one.
That's
movie?
hard.
You can give us your top 3.
Oh God. Only
You don't have to give
3?
us 3. Well, the one that really stands, okay, I'm going to give 2. 2 that really stand out for me. One is Willy's Wonderland.
I haven't seen
That
either one.
movie,
Mm-mm.
it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's really funny. And his character in that movie, again, is just like, he did such an amazing job portraying that character. Like, the comedy was so well balanced. And then Mandy. Mandy was really good
Mandy's
too.
one of my favorites for sure.
Okay, so I've got Con Air, National Treasure.
Always.
Okay, and
Classic.
Moonstruck. He's in that with Cher.
I've not seen. No, I didn't know that.
So, okay, I
I've
think
never
that's
seen that
I
one.
think that's like one of his very first movies.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Donna, what about you?
I'm looking at his au revoir right now. Definitely Vampire's Kiss and National Treasure. I did really enjoy him in the it's the one with Pedro Pascal. The massive
Massive Weight of Incredible Talent, or is it
Something
Incredible
like
Talent?
that.
Massive Weight of. Let's see.
It's not here. Oh no, it's right here. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
There. Okay.
That was a fun one.
Okay, I definitely want to see that. That sounds amazing. I've heard he has a really good one on Netflix right now, I think called Pig or something. I don't know if it's horror, but I think it's about a man who has a favorite pig and then something, I don't know, the pig is in danger. I think it's like a revenge arc related to a pig.
Okay.
Sounds like John Wick.
I mean,
Sam, what about you?
I think Mandy. I mean, Renfield is my favorite. Mandy is like, that's a scary movie. He did a really good job in that movie.
oh, God, see, what? Sorry, because he was in like other superhero movies. Because he does the voice, one of the Spider-Man in the Miles Morales animated movies.
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh!
And Noir Spider-Man or Spider-Man Noir. I can't remember which way it's supposed to go. And then, oh gosh, what was the other one? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But like, there's the Ghost Rider, and there was another one. Now I got to look it up.
Mandy was such a slow burn too. Like, it takes so long to rev up, and then it goes full throttle.
I'm curious how people think about Nicolas Cage, because he is such a nepo baby, and then really intentionally changed his last name. And for some reason, I've just forgiven him for it. Oh, did you get the name?
Kick-Ass.
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 I haven't seen that either.
I haven't seen it either. So we'll have to check it out.
Yes, check it out.
Here's what it says about Pig. The film stars Nicolas Cage as a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregon wilderness and must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she is kidnapped.
Never mind, it's taken.
What did you think about Longlegs? I would love to know anyone's opinion.
I
haven't seen it.
Who's seen?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it. I think
Look, I am a scaredy cat. Okay, like I don't know when that switch hit, because grew up reading horror, watching movies, and all kinds of just no.
Mm-hmm.
Some point, kind of hit a can't do it unless I'm prepared.
Yeah.
You think vampires are scary?
No, not vampires specifically. I think you could make a scary vampire movie, but you'd have to really lean into the monstrosity of what vampires were originally to be able to do it. I don't think you can have the Anne Rice sexy rock band kind of vampire, not even like most of the vampires in Blade, because even though they're clearly monstrous and they have like clubs where they're essentially killing people in groups. They're not frightening in that sense.
It's hard to dislike pretty people.
Yeah, it's hard to dislike pretty people. Like, you have these human looking creatures who obviously are monsters, but they're hot. So you don't get that kind of horror from a lot of the modern vampire movies that you would get to really lean into how frightening it could be.
Yeah.
I think 30 Days of Night is probably a good one that is much more horror, and the vampires are not meant to be something that you are attracted to because they're much more animalistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they still retain a lot of their human features, but the teeth are really jagged and their behavior is almost zombie-like a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think is it Blade 2? They have like the vampires with the split mouths. I think that starts to lean a little bit more into horror that way. But you have the good-looking vampires teaming up to defeat these monstrous vampires. So it's more like, action adventure, hunting down creepy monster kind of things.
Yeah, definitely. And that was like something I really admired about when we talked about The Lost Boys, was that this movie, like, again, treads the line of comedy and horror really well, where it's like solidly horror. But speaking of, I really want to talk about horrifying vampires, Nosferatu. Have you seen it? And what did you think about Nicholas Holt's portrayal of his character in this movie and his portrayal in that movie? I think, like, I was really impressed. I think especially the scene where he meets the Count Orlok, and he's I don't know exactly is he upside down or something? He just has an expression on his face that is pure horror, and he just did it. He executed it so well, and it's interesting to see him portray like a horrified person in Renfield, because he does that so well in this movie too, but it's completely different. Jamie, you didn't see Nosferatu.
I haven't seen Nosferatu, so my only references for Nicholas Hoult are Renfield and Superman for Lex Luthor. And the two characters are just so totally different. Like, you watch them and you don't connect that they're the same actor. Mm-hmm. Like with Nicolas Cage, most of the time you're like, it's Nicolas Cage. I'm going to see this because it's Nicolas Cage. Mm-hmm. But with Nicholas Hoult, like in Renfield, you can see that he's absolutely terrified, has like extremely low self-esteem, how shy and kind of like into himself that he is. Whereas Lex Luthor, he is the tech bro that we all hate. He just is. And he's self-assured. He knows that he's intelligent. And just the rage when he loses. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of overlap between the two, his two versions, his two like vampire versions, because he seems to be really good at that distressed, panicked character, but you get to see the opposite sides of the Venn diagram in each of the two. He's very, very serious in Nosferatu. That is a very serious role. That is like the epitome of the Gothic. And then in Renfield, his comedic timing is very good. And I think that shows a pretty good range for him as an actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree, but I think he played both roles pretty similarly. Like, I think that the reason that Renfield is comedy is because of the modern setup, the other characters around him, the circumstances they put him in, I think the characters themselves are quite similar, and the emotions he's feeling seem quite similar. He just actually has support, you know? In Renfield, he went to therapy. I guess that's the take. He went to therapy, and that's what happened. But that's why I love
He had a
it.
revelation.
Yeah. And
Growth.
yes. And it's why I'm interested in, like, are vampires scary? And maybe it's just because I grew up on, like, with them, but I mean, even in Nosferatu, he's supposed to be so creepy, and I was still into it. Like, I'm not scared of it. I was into it. I didn't think it was a scary movie. I don't know.
I think the origin of the vampire, what they were originally and what they were meant to portray, was scary. And now, because society has changed so much, and I don't want to say vampires have been neutered, but because they have been morphed into this seductive, attractive, barely monster, like, it's hard to take them seriously as something to be afraid of.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like in True Blood, they were scary, from what I remember. And in, like, if you've read the Anita Blake books by Laurel K. Hamilton, I feel like that they're pretty scary there.
Yeah. I think they're a little bit scarier, but for me, like for True Blood, I had read the Sookie Stackhouse series before watching the show. And honestly, I was less scared of the vampires that Sookie was dealing with than I was of the people around her.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they weren't exactly good people either.
Yeah.
They, in some cases, they were as bad as the vampires themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I have 2 more questions for you all, and then we can see if anyone else has any questions. So yeah, I've been thinking about this, but if you had to make a meme from a screenshot of this movie, well, what would it be? Because there's so many good, like, moments in this movie. And if you want, I can go first. Okay, I thought of this just now because of Donna, but I feel like the line where, you know, where he is floating up in the counseling, like Dracula is floating, rising in the gym, or no, it's a church. He's rising in, like, the center of the therapy group, that, what do you call it? A talk group. I think you could replace the "I am Dracula" line with "This is the skin of a killer Bella."
That's amazing. You're right.
Yeah. I also think the "I have a prescription for this shit" could go well with anything. You could put anything.
Yes.
That one.
What was we talked about it. What scene was it where he just goes, ooh? He says something funny, and then Nick Cage's Dracula just goes, ooh, and we both go, that's a reaction for anything. That's amazing.
I'm still stuck on murder cookies.
Murder cookies.
No, I'm not eating murder cookies.
That could
I'm
be
gonna go back to my line before about it's like, oh wow, why'd you say it like that? That's so weird. Like, yeah, because that is applicable to a lot of things on the internet. So.
That is. Yeah. Nobody's gonna go for "fuck you, Kyle," though.
Oh, fuck you,
Kyle.
Shut the fuck up, Kyle.
And then this was a question that Sam thought of, and that is, if you had to make a drinking game rule for this movie, what would the rule be? And I would also say, now that I'm 34, whenever I do a drinking game, it's water. It's because I don't drink enough water. Yeah. So if I'm watching a scary movie, especially if it's something that I'm not really into slashers, but I will watch them if my husband wants to watch one. But then especially I'll be like, I'm going to just use this to force myself to hydrate.
I just wanted, every time cocaine was on screen or mentioned, I think you would have so many more drinks than you thought. It's remarkable how much cocaine is in this movie.
There's so much cocaine. Yeah.
I mean, every time someone's head explodes.
Was there more than one? There was more than one.
There were multiples, whether it was being like punched off or kicked in or.
Okay. Yeah. Those count.
Mm-hmm. Anytime Renfield eats a bug.
I was going to say that, yeah. You die with the ants if you're doing it by quantity.
We can count. That is a chug situation.
Like until you hit the waterfall, until he stops eating ants.
Yeah, he was apparently eating bugs, like actually eating bugs.
No.
Yeah, he said someone made him like special, like caramel covered cockroaches. Yeah, and he said that he liked the crickets the best because they come in like different seasonings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's dedication.
I could do crickets. I could not do cockroaches.
That is a dedication to the craft that I don't have.
He takes the vampire seriously. He's in it.
Yeah. Did you guys have any questions? Like for the group or anything?
I guess I would love to know, I assume that everyone likes this movie, but I am just curious, like, why you like it. Just like, what about it does it for you? Especially when you have, I mean, both of you are so entrenched in the vampire lore and the genres. Like, why do you like this movie? Is it fun? Like, what does it do for you?
Because it's fun. Because it's Nicolas Cage. I like horror comedies. One of my other favorite ones is Shaun of the Dead.
So good, yeah.
And then people tend to put Hot Fuzz into like the buddy cop movies, but I swear to God that counts as a slasher. That is a slasher comedy. Mm-hmm. Okay,
now I need.
It's not a buddy cop.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. It is so good.
Yeah.
So when they have movies like this, the horror comedy where they lean into the tropes, the cliches, the stereotypes, and they just have fun with it. I love it. I love something where I can laugh instead of spending the whole thing being scared as they kind of ratchet up the terror. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a big fan of horror comedy. Like, I think balancing the two is pretty difficult, and I think people tend to get it right when they have a real investment in what they're trying to play off. So my favorite horror comedy is Vampires versus the Bronx. You want a lot of vampire Easter eggs, there's a ton in that one. Lots, and like I can't remember the director off the top of my head, but he, like, there is so much Lost Boys love in that movie. And then on top of that, lots of Dracula and everything. And I think being able to play up the comedy and being able to time the comedy while still having those creepy, more serious moments is just like an act of genius. Mm-hmm. And Renfield nails that, because there are still very serious moments. There are still kind of creepy moments. I think a lot of the creepiness is in the way that Nicolas Cage plays the Dracula character, but it's not too much comedy to kick it out of horror, and it's not too much horror to kick it out of comedy. It just it balances everything really well.
Yeah.
I love that. And I don't know what my ideal ratio of kind of campy is, but this also nails it.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Have you seen, was it Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Oh my God, I love that movie.
That movie is so good.
College kids! College kids! See, these college kids started killing themselves.
So good. That's another one that it balances everything really, really well. And they definitely pull on a lot of slasher tropes, because you could tell there's a love for Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
With Jason. Mm-hmm. A lot of that.
And it's Alan Tudyk. So
yeah, it's Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
So you know it's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Death of a Unicorn. It's a good one.
Mhm.
If you haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen that one. It's
one's fun.
on my list, but I'm also like, am I going to manage to make it through?
It was funny. I think like the hard part is the beginning, but after
It's a little slow.
yeah.
Okay.
But once it starts going, it just keeps going.
That one was just like it was like scathing in the best way.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find your work? Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me under the handle @VillainLeaning on Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitter. I refuse to call it X, Threads, Instagram. I think that's all of them. My books are available on Amazon. I'm working on actually getting everything wide and maybe setting up a website at some point so you can direct buy. But I have a full-time job and 3 kids. So
That's amazing. You do it all.
I'd like to do a little less.
That's the mood of the year, I think. I love that.
Well, you can find me at authordonnataylor.com. That's a good landing site to get you everywhere else. I've reduced down my social media stuff, so I'm on Instagram, Threads, and Pinterest at author Donna Taylor. My paperbacks are available wherever you can buy paperbacks. If you want signed, they're available through the Crafty Bookstore. I am in the process of moving Blood on the Boardwalk into Kindle Unlimited. So technically it is there now. For some reason, I can only access the listing through my dashboard. So kinks, working them out. Hopefully, like this week, it should be done by the time this airs. Hopefully, I am past that. But the entirety of the San Diego Slayer series is going to end up in Kindle Unlimited. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sam, what about you? Do you want people to follow you?
No.
Okay.
I'm just a person. I would like to be unknowable just as Sarah's friends. As authors, what is the best way to like directly support smaller independent authors? Like, is it reading on Kindle Unlimited? Is it website? Like, what is the best way that you like to be supported by your readers?
Right now, your only option is to buy my books. I had to pull them out of Kindle Unlimited because some of the copies had gotten pirated, and I was not about to have my account taken down. So,
just buy the books wherever you buy them. Preferably, my preference is through the Crafty Bookstore because Bailey is amazing and she is very, very supportive of indie authors. But anywhere that you need to, if you need to buy the books off of Amazon, buy them off of Amazon. But and anyway, and then leave reviews if you can.
Yeah. Help us fight the algorithm by boosting our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you all for being here. It was so much of a pleasure to watch this movie, to talk about this movie, and just like spend time with 3 such amazing people as you. So I really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for listening.